My name is Darren Elijah, creator of the Virtual Home Buying Seminar, and today we have a very special guest, a very close and longtime friend of mine, Charles Smith, who is in the Atlanta, Georgia area. And Charles was a beta tester for me, and we brought him in today to just tell his story of how he went through the program and ultimately became a homeowner as a result of the virtual home buying seminar. So, Charles, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, welcome, man. Glad to have you on. And if you would, for our audience, for our listeners, for our students, just tell us how this all came to be. Tell us, really, I guess, from the moment when I reached out on Facebook to say, hey, I've got a program and I'd like to, get some beta testers, and what your response was to me when you saw that message.
Well, like you said, I saw the post on Facebook and I was actually thinking about buying a house after being in a rental situation for close to 3 years. Um, Recently divorced and an empty nester.
Hmm.
I was just thinking, it's time for me to own something on my own.
Hmm.
So when I saw your program, I said, my man is marketing this thing, so let me see if I could help him out and help myself out as well.
Right.
So, once you sent me the program and I didn't follow through immediately like I was supposed to. Uh, life challenges, but
Yeah.
when I finally sat down and started getting into it, it just got more and more interesting. Um, Kind of showed me where I was, how close I was,
Right.
as well as how far away I was. The programs, the loan programs, and the different exercises that you provide help put me in a light that, if I do this and I do that, I might be able to have a house
Right. Well,
real soon.
I was shocked when I got the message from you on that Thursday night and you said, hey, I'm going to call your guy tomorrow and apply for a mortgage, because you said to me, in the message, you said you're at least 6 months away from being able to apply. Right?
Right,
Right. So
right.
when I got the message that, hey, I'm going to call your guy tomorrow, you're a preferred lender, I was like, okay. Apparently, something worked out pretty well that were able to see that you were, like you said, closer than you thought you were.
Yeah,
Okay.
the numbers started making sense.
Okay. Okay. So the program gave you clarity over the home buying process, and not just the part of selecting a home, but actually what you need to do as an applicant and what a mortgage company, a lender, an underwriter is actually looking for from you, right?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
So it answered a lot of questions without you having a real estate agent, without you actually having to speak with a mortgage professional before you spoke with anybody about buying a home. That's the important part that we're trying to, emphasize and tell people is that, look, if you think you're not in a position and you don't want to waste anybody's time,
Right,
because a real estate agent isn't putting you in their car unless you have your pre-qualification letter.
right.
So if you're confused, if you don't know where to start, the virtual
It's
home
per
buying seminar, right?
it's a
Okay.
perfect place to start.
Okay. All right. So let's get to Friday when you reached out to me and said, hey, I called your preferred lender, but I didn't hear back from anybody. So let's go from there.
Okay. Well, I guess it was like you said Friday. Not really sure. I think Charles, I think, did get back to me later on that Friday, and he wanted to take my information, and so we went through the whole, I guess, what you call the mini application, and he said that I would hear from him by Monday morning. And sure enough, Monday morning he called and told me that he had got me pre-qualified.
So if I recall correctly, he set an appointment with you for Saturday,
Correct.
did the
Correct.
application on Saturday. He then put you in touch with a real estate agent,
Oh yeah,
and
that's right. He did put me in touch with a real estate agent that Saturday, and
right,
the real estate agent called me
and then he had properties for you to look at on Sunday.
Sunday. Yes,
Okay. And then you got the word from Charles on Monday
Monday.
that you had what? Been pre approved or you had gotten approval?
I had been uh, pre-approved.
Okay. And then Tuesday you received what?
Does that
Your
right?
pre qualification letter.
Yes,
Okay. So really in probably about a day and a half because,
because of the
Saturday,
weekend.
right, it's a
Right.
weekend. So day and a half, less than 48 hours, you got a pre
I was rocking
qualification.
and rolling.
There you go. Okay. So now you've got your letter in hand, you've got your real estate agent, you can confidently go out there, look at properties, and speak with prospective sellers. What happens next?
This is when it kind of got dicey. The whole put in a offer letter. You put in an offer letter. There were a few houses where you go to put in an offer and they say, oh, they already have an offer. Then you put in an offer and then they come back and say, well, yeah, we got a better offer. And so, it's like, okay, well, when somebody else already had an offer, you wouldn't even accept my offer. But when you have an offer, they'll accept other people's offer. So it kind of started getting frustrating.
Okay. How many times did that happen?
I would say five,
Okay.
at
Okay.
the minimum five.
Okay. And
Um,
this is, also a lesson for prospective buyers that, there are a couple of things that happen with sellers. Somebody offers a premium for their property. So if you're going in thinking, hey, I'll offer something a little less than what they're actually asking for, as a bargaining chip, sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes it is a seller's market and they can, sell a house for $5,000, $10,000 or more over their asking price. So you got to be prepared
correct.
for that. But then there's the other part of it where, okay, I just don't want to sell my house to you. sometimes, sometimes the reality of life is people get funny about selling their home, and they got an idea who they want to sell their house to. So sometimes it happens. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's jump to this house and the offer being accepted, and then what happens. How long it took you to get to a closing from the time that the contract was submitted, and all the things that took place with that house.
Okay. So I actually saw this house on the 5th of June and we wrote up the contract, the offer. And just so you know, I actually went over the asking price because I was a little frustrated with being turned down on several of the other ones.
Gotcha.
So when I actually put the offer in, they did have an offer on this house already, but I guess my offer was better, so they ran with my offer.
There you
And
go.
when the paperwork was actually written up, the closing date was actually the 28th of June, which is only 23 days.
Mm.
I've never heard of that before, and everybody kept telling me you're not going to close in 23 days. It doesn't happen that fast. And I was like, okay. So we go from that, and this is when the paperwork whirlwind starts
Mm.
because you have to verify everything in and out of your checking account, savings account. Uh, it really it really was interesting. And it's not really like they dig; they just want to know,
Right.
and they expect you to be forthcoming with that information. So that was quite interesting.
Yeah. Well, look, when you finally get an offer accepted and submitted to the lender, they've got to do a couple of things. Obviously, they're going to get the appraisal back. They're going to Depending upon the purchase price and the LTV, they may ask for a home inspection to be done. But the most important things that an underwriter is going to go through is verifying your employment again, checking your credit again, and then making sure that all of your accounts are in good standing and that your bank account has the amount of money in it that you said outside of your monthly bills, that was in it. So that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. You can't go and establish new credit lines. You can't do any of that stuff. So good for you. Congratulations that everything kind of worked out and checked out there. Okay. So what happens next?
So after they the paperwork starts, they send you a pre-closing. What's the word I'm looking for? A pre-closing requisition or
The
something to that nature that gives you all the numbers, what you're going to need at closing costs, what you need to do as far as buying the home, which is getting your inspection done, getting your appraisal done, getting homeowners insurance. You have to have that before they'll actually close the loan. Um, but it's kind of like a worksheet breakdown of everything that you have to pay for. It tells you the services that you can actually shop for yourself, like inspectors. You don't have to use their inspector. You can find your own,
okay.
um, and things like that. But the one thing I will say is that first pre-closing, whatever it is,
Loan estimate.
yeah, I guess you could call it that. There was a more correct term for it. But that amount that they say you need to have to bring to closing, I would definitely say you want to have twice as much as that original estimate.
So your closing disclosure statement,
That's it.
it differed
That's it.
from your loan estimate when you began the loan, when you began the process of getting approved for this particular house. And when that,
Yes.
okay,
And as time goes on, it continually goes up.
yes,
So, for instance, once I got the homeowners insurance, they have to take in a certain amount of that at closing because it goes into escrow,
there
and I
you go,
think they pay it for a year up front.
there you go.
So you have to add that into your closing costs. And most of the time, well, from what I've seen, the seller is actually locked into a set amount of the closing costs. So if it goes up or goes down, it's all going to be on you.
Okay,
So just to not to drag it out, but my closing costs went from 2,100 initially to I want to say close to four grand
okay,
by the time we actually got to the table and sat down and closed.
okay. But again, most of that was escrow.
Most of that was escrow stuff.
Okay,
Correct.
gotcha. Okay, but those are the things that you can't get around. It's just part of the deal, and
Yeah, but
usually,
that's why
mhm,
you I kind of wanted to put that out there because you get to a point, and like I said, they're already monitoring what what goes in and out of your account. They know how much money you make, so you really want to be prepared in that instance because there's things that happen.
right.
Um, if I can just tell a quick story, but I actually had everything together and forgot about an auto draft that I had scheduled,
Mm.
and it went through 3 days before my closing.
Oh wow.
And
What's this?
yeah, yeah. You're closing on Friday, Wednesday. You're like, good, I'm good, and then you wake up Thursday morning. You're like, what?
Yes, yes, yes.
So that's just the biggest part of it to me.
Okay. So we're at closing, and I think you actually posted a picture of the house prior to going to closing
Yes, I
on
did.
Facebook and said you're about to be a homeowner. What was that
And I
feeling
think
like? Hmm.
the feeling was it was an awesome feeling, but it was also a lot of
A little
nervousness.
nerve wracking, right?
Yeah, is this really going to happen?
Is it real? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Is it real? Am I actually going to be a homeowner in a couple of hours? What if I'm late? I better leave early. Uh, Anxiety. It was all present.
Yeah.
Thankfulness. Thankful to you.
Oh,
Um, it was just a whole lot of mixed emotions.
sure.
And I can't really even say that it was a happy feeling at that time.
Mm,
It was just, like I said, it was a barrel of emotions, but more nervousness than anything.
sure. Sure. Because you're probably thinking, what could go wrong? And it probably
No,
will. Yeah.
no. I was thinking, what is going to go wrong?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Not
yeah.
what could, but what
How
is.
could this be happening? How could this be going so well? There's got to be something out there, right?
It's
Murphy's
got to be
Law.
something. That's
Okay.
right. That's right.
Okay. So you go through about 30 minutes or so of signing documents. And, tell us the feeling once you finally signed your name to all the documents, the last document, and then being handed the keys at the table.
Ecstatic.
Yeah.
It's ecstatic. Just overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's like for one thing, to me, it was more of an accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Um, for the last couple of years of my life, um, there's been some major changes,
Okay.
and to me, this was a big major step for me that put me back in. I guess I'm not going to say believing in myself, but believing that I can accomplish what I set out to accomplish.
Sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, congratulations, man. Um, we're proud of you, happy for you, and glad that we could help. Tell us before we go, what was the first night like, and the first morning when you had your cup of coffee? Just tell us what you were thinking the first night you slept in the house, and then the next morning when you got up when you had your coffee on the back porch, I think it was, or the patio. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
yeah, because I posted that on Facebook too.
Exactly. Right.
The first night, it's I don't really know. I mean, walking through the house, basically saying, this is really mine.
Yeah.
Uh, and I didn't say it earlier, but I actually told my real estate agent as soon as we walked into this house, and I saw the hardwood floors in the backyard, that he could actually go ahead and call his assistant and tell her to start on the paperwork.
You knew it was yours. You knew it was your
I,
home when you walked in.
yeah, there's a little bit more to the story too.
Okay.
As you know, my name is Smith, and the occupants or the owners of the house, their name was Smith. So when we pulled up outside, the mailbox had my name on it.
It was
And
a
as a
wrap.
bas-
It was a
right,
wrap, as they say.
it was a wrap. As a basketball player, it had a basketball goal in the driveway.
Oh,
So it was like, this is yours.
yeah.
This is yours. And that whole night, I was still moving stuff because I started moving as soon as I got my key. I
Gotcha.
got back to the house. I started grabbing boxes and small stuff, throwing it in the car and making trips back and forth over here. And, it was just an awesome feeling. Opening the door for the first time, putting stuff away in my kitchen.
Right.
It was just an awesome feeling. I slept on the floor, made a pallet on the floor in my bedroom because I didn't have any beds here. Um, no internet, no TV, but I slept in my house.
That's right.
And when I woke up, I because I did move the coffee maker because I knew that
You needed the
I was
coffee
spending the
first thing.
night. Coffee first thing in the morning.
Right.
I made a cup of coffee, And I went outside on the deck and looked over my yard and drank my coffee. And it was an awesome feeling. That's why I put it on Facebook.
Oh man, well listen, you can't see me obviously, but I've got this ear to ear smile on my face just because, and a little emotional because we've known each other for so long, and our families knew each other before we were born, and I'm just so happy to played a small part in just getting you the information and then you running with the information because if you didn't do anything, you'd still be in your previous situation, man. So again,
Exactly.
thank you for diving in when you did, because life does get in the way. I get that, but I really appreciate you, and thanks for telling us your story. When I come down, I definitely want to come sit on the patio with you, have a cup of coffee, and walk through the house, and maybe we can do a just a short video, quick video from the front yard and on the porch, and then out in the backyard. How's
That'd
that
be
sound?
awesome.
All right,
That's awesome.
cool. Charles Smith, brand new homeowner. Congratulations again. Thank you so much for being a part of the virtual home buying seminar. We appreciate you, man. And is there anything you'd like to say before we close out? Anything that you want to say about the program and, just tell folks about?
Definitely. The program is very informational and worth the time. I'm sure everybody's seen it where you can actually just I laid in the bed and watched it on my laptop.
Mm.
Just had a pen and a pad and took notes. But if you're really interested and want to own a home, there's so many programs out there that this seminar talks about and will help you through if you just take the time to sit down and watch it.
Absolutely. And a
Pretty
special
much.
shout out to our preferred lender as well, because like you said, 23 days. Now, I took out the 5 days, that fell on the weekend.
Right,
So you closed in 18 days of your offer being accepted.
right.
That's a phenomenal job. So we're going to add that to your story. That once the contract was accepted, you were able to close in 18 business days.
18 business days.
All right. So we greatly appreciate them, Charles Pinkman and his team, for all that they do. And once again, Charles Smith, thanks, man. Appreciate you. Congratulations. Enjoy the house. And I can't wait to come down and see it.
Yeah, thank you too, Darren.
You got it. No problem. All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
All right, later on.
Bye bye. If you're in the market for a home, or you've been thinking about the possibility and aren't quite sure if you can afford it or qualify, make the decision to start learning the home buying process today.